Welcome to Fighting Stats, the ultimate channel for UFC fans who love statistics and betting breakdowns. I'm your host, Art C, and today I'll be getting you ready for the upcoming UFC fight. Here at FightingStats.com, we have exclusive UFC stats not available anywhere else. We can tell you how often a fighter throws that left hook or that right jab in southpaw, how often they move backwards, or how often they throw kicks. We have all of that information, but that is not all. In this series, I'll be watching tape and I'll give you my real-time analysis on how the fight's going to go. I'm going to watch for fighter strengths, weaknesses, tendencies, and overall strategies to give you my prediction on how I think the fight is going to go and ultimately who's going to win. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome to Fighting Stats. Welcome back to Fighting Stats. I'm your host, Art C, and today we are breaking down the UFC Fight Night main event between Amanda Lemos and Virna Jandiroba. So, we've seen all of the Amanda Lemos fight tape. We watched some of the Virna Jandiroba fight tape. I'll be honest, I'm pretty confident in this one. I do have a good idea of how I think the fight's going to play out. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all of our fighting stats, tell you what all of the numbers say. Then I'll give you my prediction on how I think the fight's going to go. And then we'll get into our best bets, our value bets. So I'll put some numbers there, see where the prop should be, and then get you to the window there. So without further ado, let's get this started here. So we've pulled up our fighting stats, tail of the tape. This is our detailed striking report. Put Amanda Lemos here on the blue side, Virna Jandiroba on the red side. In terms of the physicals, looks like Amanda's going to have a 1 inch height advantage, 1 inch reach advantage. We're going to be 1 year younger, so not too big of a difference there. Overall, in her UFC career, Amanda Lemos 8-3 in the UFC, 38% of her wins coming from KO, 25% coming from submission, and 38% coming from decision. Of her 3 losses, 1 of each, 1 KO, 1 submission, and 1 decision loss there. On the Virna Jandiroba side, 6-3 in the UFC, doesn't have any KO wins, not surprising, honestly. 33% wins by submission, 50% wins by decision. Probably has some no contest or something in there. Does have 3 losses in the UFC, all of them coming from decision. So keep that in mind there in the future of the breakdown. Starting off here, we're going to start with Amanda Lemos' offensive striking. She's going to be mainly a distance striker, but she does have strikes coming from all over. So 71% of her strikes coming from a distance, 14% of the strikes coming from the clinch, and 15% of her strikes landed coming from the ground. So decent distribution of ground strikes and standing strikes. In terms of target breakdown, 76% of strikes landed towards the head, 16 towards the body, and 8% legs there. And then striking accuracy, pretty good, honestly. 47% head strike accuracy, 73 body strike accuracy, and 93% leg strike accuracy there. Average strikes thrown by round here, so let's keep an eye on this because there were some cardio concerns coming into this fight, but Amanda Lemos does seem to drop off in terms of the volume in terms of the strikes landed. So she throws 29 strikes in round number 1, 27 strikes in round number 2, and 24 strikes in round number 3. Strikes landed also decreasing as the rounds go on, 17, 15, 13, 13. I think the sample size for round 4 and 5 pretty small there. I think she only has 1 against Zhang Weili, where Zhang Weili just controlled her on the ground. So ignore the rounds 4 and 5 there. And then strikes landed by round in terms of target there. You can see the head strikes landing, averaging about 10 strikes, 9 strikes in round number 2, 9 strikes in round number 3. I do want to highlight some of these leg kick numbers, landing 3 leg kicks in round number 1, 2 in round number 2, and 1 in round number 3. Overall, in her UFC career, Amanda Lemos has 6 knockdowns. I think I saw a visual there. She actually leads the strawweight division with the most knockdowns. Again, this is the women's MMA, and it's one of the lightest divisions in women's MMA. So any hard hitters like Amanda Lemos really stick out because you're not expecting a ton of power at this level here. So 6 knockouts overall 56% striking accuracy, again 71% strikes at a distance. Some of these leg kick numbers, she has landed 50 of 54 leg kicks thrown. Amanda Lemos landing 4 of 4 against Mackenzie Dern. Go back and watch that fight. Mackenzie Dern's lead leg all busted up early because of those 4 leg kicks. I think those 4 leg kicks actually coming within the first minute, and then going 3 leg kicks in round number 2, and then abandoned them in round number 3 there. And again, Zhang Wei Li fight almost all of it on the ground there, so not a lot of room to throw a ton of leg kicks there. So moving over to the defensive striking for Amanda Lemos, look at the striking breakdown here. 52% of the strikes absorbed for Lemos going to be at a distance, 24 in the clinch, and 24 on the ground. Again, some of those fights making those numbers a little bit bigger, but we'll get into that shortly. Target breakdown against 70% of the strikes landed against towards the head, 17 towards the body, and 13% towards the leg. Overall, her defensive striking defense, 49% head strike defense, not great. 76 towards the body and 70% to the legs there. And then strikes absorbed by rounds. Again, that Zhang Wei Li fight going to blow out some of these numbers, but on average absorbs 14 strikes in round number 1, 21 strikes in round number 2, and 14 strikes in round number 3. Round number 4 and round number 5 skyrocketing, and again, those are just Zhang Wei Li fights. You can just see here in terms of the ground strikes. Here's Zhang Wei Li landing 44 ground strikes in round number 5 against Amanda Lemos. Zhang Wei Li landing 26 distance strikes against Amanda Lemos in round number 4. So those are going to make the stats a little bit skewed to that side there. Overall, though, for a distance striker, only been knocked down once in her UFC career, compared to the 6-8 knockdowns on the offensive side, and then yeah, has seen some strikes there. So, moving on to the Virna Jandiroba offensive striking, I'll just tell you now from the tape, it's not very good, pretty basic, but I'll tell you what the numbers say. 77% of strikes landed going to be at a distance, 13% in the clinch, and 10% on the ground. Overall target breakdown, look at this, 89% towards the head. She is just a head hunter on the feet, 10% to the body. There's a sliver of red in there, and it's 0.5% leg kicks. She does not throw any leg kicks over her UFC career. Long UFC career dating back to 2019 has thrown 3 leg kicks in total. All right. Striking accuracy towards the head, 37% head strike accuracy. 53% body strike accuracy. Obviously, those 3 leg kicks she landed, so she has 100% leg kick accuracy. Average strikes thrown by rounds actually increases as the rounds go up, so keep that in mind. 21 strikes thrown in round number 1, 30 in round number 2, 36 in round number 3, landing 9, 11, and 14. Surprisingly, she does have 1 knockdown. That was against Amanda Ribas. She has 1 knockdown there. In the UFC career. So let's go over to the red defensive striking. So Virna defensive striking, 74% of the strikes landed against, going to be at a distance, 14% in the clinch, and 12% on the ground. In terms of target breakdown, 82% of the strikes landed against, going to be towards the head, 13 towards the body, 5% towards the leg. Overall striking defense, 36% towards the head, body is 70%, and leg is 89% strike defense to the legs there. Okay. Average strikes absorbed by round for Virna. You can see that her striking defense does increase as the fight goes on, absorbing 10 in round number 1, 12 in round number 2, and 22 in round number 3. Sorry about that. Virna hasn't seen a ton of leg kicks, and again, 31 of 35 leg kicks have landed. And again, I bring that up because she is fighting Amanda Lemos. Amanda Lemos beating up that lead leg of Mackenzie Dern early on. And then Lupi Godinez only threw 2 leg kicks there. Marina Rodriguez only throwing 1 there. Angela Hill threw no leg kicks. Amanda Ribas was the last one that really threw many leg kicks, going 14 of 15 in leg kicks landed for Amanda Ribas. What else do we have? Okay, so let's move over to the detailed grappling. Okay, so this is going to be a striker versus grappler type matchup. So Virna her strength's not going to be in the striking, obviously. It's going to be more to the grappling. So I'm not going to really look at Amanda Lemos' offensive grappling. She did land 2 takedowns on Mackenzie Dern. That was more of a clinch situation where Mackenzie Dern's sort of pulling guard, trying to get the fight down to the ground. Amanda Lemos not afraid to go down to the ground with Dern. Gets credited with 2 takedowns. 129 control seconds in round number 2 against Dern, and 113 seconds in round number 3 against Dern. Those numbers honestly pretty telling. As Amanda Lemos not afraid to go down to the ground with Dern. Dern did hit a couple of sweeps, um, but we'll get into the defensive grappling shortly. Defensive grappling for Amanda Lemos here. Again, she's seen quite a bit of takedown attempts against. Dern going 1 of 3 in takedowns against Zhang Wei Li, landing 6 of 7 in terms of takedown attempts there. Overall in her UFC career, been taken down 9 times in 21 attempts. Overall in her UFC career, though, Amanda Lemos has only seen one sub attempt, and surprisingly, it was against Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade getting that standing guillotine, I believe, tapping her out there. Mackenzie Dern, as much ground time as she had, Mackenzie Dern had 165 seconds of ground time or control time in round number 1, 30 seconds in round number 2, and 165 seconds in round number 3. Got a couple of reversals, but did not have any sub attempts. But Amanda Lemos preventing Dern from getting into dominant positions in that fight. Virna Jandiroba, offensive grappling. This is going to be her best chance of victory here. You can see some of these takedown numbers right off the bat there. Averages 2.1 takedowns attempted in round number 1, 1.8 in round number 2, and 2.3 in round number 3. Overall, landing about 0.8, 0.6, and 0.8 again in rounds 1, 2, and 3. In that last fight against Lupi Godinez, actually attempts 9 takedowns overall, landed 2 of them. Did get a decent number of control time though, 107 seconds of control in round number 1, 151 in round number 2, and 137 seconds in round number 3. Same thing against Marina Rodriguez, another striker there, got over 200 seconds, 250 seconds of control in rounds 1, 2, and 3 there. Marina Rodriguez also being a striker as well. And then same thing with Angela Hill. Seems to be sort of how she's racking up these decision wins is she's getting these takedowns, she's controlling the fighters on the ground, and then getting to decision there. So that's pretty much going to be the path of victory here. Rid defensive grappling I don't need to go into because I don't think, again, Lemos is shooting a takedown. Let's go into the fighting stats time breakdown. So overall, Amanda Lemos, 50% of the time that we taped was spent standing. 42% of that time was on the ground. Again, 25 minutes of that taping there is Zhang Wei Li on top. So a big chunk of that's going to be ground time for Amanda Lemos. In terms of ground top time, we don't need to get into. Ground bottom time consists of 42% of the time on bottom was spent in side control, where the opponent is in side control. 37% was in half guard. Zhang Wei Li spending most of the time in half guard, just controlling the posture, raining down ground and pound there. So not a ton of dominant positions, only 20% of the time did she give up back mount, and 8% of the time she's in full guard. Does not give up any full mount time, so that's pretty impressive in terms of the people that she's fought has not been mounted yet. Fighting time for Virna Jandiroba, 47% of the time spent standing, 41% on the ground there, 7% in the clinch. In terms of the ground breakdowns here, 37% of the time she's going to be in half guard, 23% is going to be in full guard. So almost 60% of the time when Virna is on the ground, she's either in full guard or half guard. Not a ton of submissions from those guards there. 12% in side control, 9% in full mount, and 13% in back mount there. So pretty interesting stuff. If Virna does get on top, maybe she spends a lot of time in side or half control. So let's go over to the striking tendencies here. We have Amanda Lemos on the blue side, Virna on the right side there. Amanda Lemos throwing 80% significant strikes, single strikes rate. So a lot of single strikes here for Amanda Lemos. Virna Jandiroba throwing 56% single strike rate. And look at these kicking numbers here. Amanda Lemos going to have a big kicking edge here. 39% of the strikes thrown by Amanda Lemos going to involve a kick of some sort. Whereas Virna has 7%. That even sounds high from what we've seen here. In terms of the striking preferences, Amanda Lemos going to throw this right high kick 17% of the time. She does like the right hand. She has that very fast right hand, throws it 13% of the time. She has a jab she throws at 12% of the time, and that rear low kick 11% of the time. That's going to make up 50% of her striking range or striking weapons there are those rear low kicks, rear kicks there, and then the ones and twos. I do think that the rear high kick is the when she switches to southpaw, she likes to throw that left kick to the body. So keep an eye on that. Vern is going to be mostly orthodox in this fight, so but Amanda Lemos does switch to southpaw to throw that left kick there. Whereas on the Jandiroba side, we saw a lot of it. It's going to be a lot of jabs, right? 29% of the fight of the time, she's throwing these like single jabs. She's really reaching on these jabs. And then 26% of the time, she loads up the 1-2, throws the 1-2 sort of. I call it a Diaz 1-2, where it's just like pop, pop rather than bop, bop, right? Slight difference, but it comes a little bit faster. She does really overextend on the 1-2s there. And then 10% she's throwing the threes, 2% she's throwing the single twos. Again, not a ton of leg kicks involved in any of that. So those numbers pretty interesting here, and I'll tell you why. Let's start into the fight breakdown. Okay, so Amanda Lemos gonna start orthodox. This is sorry. This is how I think the fight is going to go out. Amanda Lemos going to open up orthodox. Virna Jandiroba is going to be an orthodox. This fight is going to be at the UFC Apex. Is going to be a little bit smaller. It's probably going to favor Virna Jandiroba, as she's going to want to get the fight down to the ground. But we did see most of this fight play out against the Mackenzie Dern. So how I think the fight's going to happen is, again, both girls going to open up orthodox. Amanda Lemos does a really good job of staying in kicking range. We saw it especially in the Mackenzie Dern fight. She didn't want to get into the pocket, stand too close to let Mackenzie Dern get a hold of her. So I predict that it's probably going to be much of the same thing. Amanda Lemos is going to be on the outside. Anytime she circles to the right or has that angle, she is going to blast the outside low kick. She's going to beat up that left leg of Virna Jandiroba. Virna hasn't really had to deal with many leg kicks there, and the leg kicks of Amanda Lemos very fast, very hard. Again, only taking 4 for Mackenzie Dern's legs to start ballooning up, and because Virna really throws a lot of jabs and 1-2s. Though that outside low kick, that left outside low kicks when she's throwing, she's putting a lot of weight because she's overextending on the 1-2s. As soon as that leg gets beat up, she can't put as much pressure on it. Not that she has any power to begin with, Virna, but as soon as that leg gets beat up a little bit more, it's going to cause less and less power. It's going to be a lot of arm strikes. You'll see that she won't even put a lot of weight on it when throwing it, so it's going to affect her striking quite a bit there. Um, so the leg kick's going to be early and often, I think, for Amanda Lemos. She's going to keep the outside. She's going to circle around, try to get some lateral movement going. Verna's going to really have to close the distance here. The thing with Verna is she likes to stand in kicking range too, which is kind of weird. Her 1-2 is sort of closing a little bit of distance, throwing the 1-2 and trying to pop back out. But I think that's what Amanda Lemos wants to do here. So early, we're going to see a lot of low kicks early from Amanda Lemos. It's going to affect her, and then into the later rounds, Verna's not going to be able to do much. The takedown's going to come a little bit harder. The clinching going to be a little bit harder, and I don't think that Virna Jandiroba can take 5 rounds of outside low kicks. So it's going to really force Virna to close the distance, try to gauge in the clinch. Virna, after eating a couple of low kicks, is going to shoot a takedown, and it's whether or not she's going to get this takedown, whether or not she's going to hold Amanda Lemos down. Amanda Lemos did get held down for 5 rounds against Zhang Weili. Again, Zhang Weili, out of this world grappler. I mean, out of this world everywhere, but she's pretty good, strong, and pretty strong in the grappling as well, able to hold her down. And then that Mackenzie Dern fight, again, Mackenzie Dern, same thing where she got the takedown. As soon as she got the takedown, she was able to ride out the top control. So that's what Verna's going to have to really do here, right? So you might, if Virna cannot get the takedown, if you see her shoot for the takedown and just Amanda Lemos just too strong, nice hips, nice sprawl, it's going to be a very long night for Virna. Virna's going to have to get the fight down to the ground. She's going to have to ride out top control like she has been doing. But we see in the stats here that she's going to spend most of the time here in full guard or in half guard. She doesn't have a ton of submissions recently. The last submission I think was going back a couple of years, going back to 2020. So Amanda Lemos not getting submitted by Mackenzie Dern is a huge feather in her cap there. She got the takedowns, able to pop back up and actually ends up winning that fight there. This one being a 5-round fight has me a little bit concerned with some of the cardio going on into the later rounds. But again, I think the accumulation of the leg kicks is going to be a big weapon. And then I didn't talk about the actual striking of the hands of Amanda Lemos. We talked about Virna Jandiroba, her striking, shot selection. Could be a lot of single jabs, and then when she throws the 1-2, she's really reaching and overextending. Go back and watch the Lupi Godinez one. I break that down pretty good. But when Virna is throwing that right hand, she's dropping it, she's overextending, she's open to the counters. Luby's not able to capitalize on those counters, but Amanda Lemos does. She has a nasty right hand. She actually dropped Mackenzie Dern with that same right hand where she backs up, backs up. Mackenzie Dern doing the same thing where she's really trying to reach, trying to touch her, and as soon as she reaches, she gets popped back, actually gets dropped there. So I can see easily Amanda Lemos a right hand counter knocking down or even almost finishing um, Virna Jandiroba. Again, Virna Jandiroba hasn't been finished, but she hasn't been in those situations where she's faced a hard hitter. Again, Amanda Lemos, one of the hardest hitters in the division, and she has a nasty right hand counter. So I see a lot of ways here for Amanda Lemos to win this. Virna Jandiroba, on the other hand, is probably going to have to ride out top control for 5 rounds to win the decision, or 3 out of the 5 rounds to win the decision, or somehow grab the back, lock in the choke there. But we saw Virna on the back of Lupi Godinez for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes, not able to get it because Lupi Godinez just going 2-on-1 on the choke, defending the choke there, and then Verna not able to do much. So let's get into the striking numbers or the numbers. I'll tell you where my best bets are and where I think the line should be. Should have loaded this one up. Oh, it's right here. What are you doing? Duplicate. Verna. All right, so I've pulled up my handy dandy bet tracker here. What I like to do is I like to go through all of the possible outcomes in the fight, assign a certain percentage to them. I use Kelly criterion to determine how much of my bankroll should I be risking on each possible outcome. That tells us where the value bets are and where the best bets are. So let's get this started. Amanda Lemos going to be on the blue side. We're going to start by Amanda Lemos wins by KO. I think this is probably the most likely outcome, if I'm being honest. I think the outside low kick's going to accumulate over time. I think that right hand counter going to land pretty often for Lemos as well. So I'm going to start with 35% for Amanda Lemos to win by TKO. Amanda Lemos to win by submission, probably close to 0%. I don't think I can go to 5%, so I'll leave it at 0%. It could be a I guess, you know what? I'm going to leave it at 5% because Amanda Lemos does jump guillotine quite a bit, especially if you shoot in a takedown, you leave your neck out there. She will attack that guillotine. It's possible that Verna gets rocked and then shoots in a takedown, and then Lemos jumps on the neck, finishes by submission. I don't think it's much more than 5%, so I'll leave it at 5% there. Amanda Lemos to win by decision. This one's tough because I think if it stays standing, Amanda Lemos probably going to find a finish on the feet, but it's possible that it goes back and forth. Verna winning a couple of rounds on the ground, Amanda Lemos doing a little bit of damage, and then in those later rounds, maybe Verna takes overs here. So we'll go with 15% for now, and then we'll adjust it if we need to. Verna, we'll go over to the Verna Jandiroba side. Wins by TKO. I don't see it. I'm gonna put 10% because it's a 5 round fight. The TKO can come from any positional TKOs. Maybe she gets her mounted, ground and pound from the top. Maybe she gets her back and some strikes from the back and gets it stopped. Or maybe Lemos slows down into the later rounds. But I just don't see it on the feet. Verna doesn't have really any power on the feet. She swings these overhand rights that are never going to get there. I think the ground and pound TKO has to be there for her to finish it. I just don't see it. I think 10% is a little bit high, if I'm being honest. But we'll leave it at 10% now. If we have to adjust it, we will. Verna to win by submission, I think it's possible as well. She just hasn't done it in a while. She's going to want to get the fight down to the ground, and she want to get into a dominant position. It's more Amanda Lemos can be a liability. She did get choked out by Andrade, but she didn't get choked out by Mackenzie Dern. So we're going to put 20% for now. Seems fair there. And then Virna Jandiroba winning by decision, probably her most likely outcome as well. 15 to 20%, I guess. A little bit off here, but I want to. Okay, let's change the TKO to 5%. Let's change the sub to 15%. Leave that there, and then just talking it through here. Wins by decision 15. Okay, here. All right, so let's recap here. Just go over some of the numbers here. So Amanda Lemos win by TKO, I have at 35% plus 186 or better. Amanda Lemos to win by submission 5% plus 1900 or better, and win by decision 20% plus 400 or better. Virna to win by TKO only 5% plus 1900 or better. Win by sub 15% plus 567 or better, and win by decision 20% plus 400 or better. You know what? I'm looking at this now. I'm just going to change the sub and decision 15% to decision. No, never mind. Keep on flopping back and forth. 15% sub, 20% decision. Okay, so overall money line for Amanda Lemos 60% minus 150 or better. Wins inside the distance 40% plus 150 or better. On the Virna Jandiroba side, total money line 40% plus 150 or better. Wins inside the distance 20% plus 400 or better. Fight to go to decision, I have it 40% plus 150. Not to go to decision, 60% minus 150. That sounds a little bit off if I'm being honest, because I would take the not decision more often than not. So let's bring up this sub. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I keep bouncing back and forth, but this is somewhere where the capping lies, and you can see some of the numbers going off. Okay. I've just changed the sub and decision equity here of Virna, 20% sub equity, 15% decision equity for Virna. Let's go 40%. I'm going back and forth. Okay. Overall, though, I do think that Amanda Lemos should be the favorite in this fight at minus 150. Let's go over to the current line now, because I did see something in terms of where I think she was ended up being a dog. So I go over to fightodds.io. Look here, Amanda Lemos plus 120. The best line is plus 123. Looks like 120 you can get, so I'll plug that in. And then on the Jandiroba side, going to be minus 140, minus 145. So what did I say? Plus 120 for yeah, okay. So I use 8th Kelly criterion. It tells me sort of how much percentage of the bankroll to bet. So I'm putting in the current line of plus 120. My capping says that she should be at least minus 150. So 8th Kelly criterion saying bet 3.3 units on Amanda Lemos. Honestly, that's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get up to 3 units, but I'll probably be pretty close because, again, I do think the equity lies on that side. At this time, I don't think any of the props are out yet. Let me just confirm. Oh, there are some props out here. So I'll fill out the sheet here. Let's see how close my numbers are actually. Um, Lemos to win by KO, 215. Lemos to win by submission, 16. So 215 by KO. Oop. 1600 by submission. Looks like they're pretty on. Lemos to win by decision plus 425. Look at the numbers here. We are pretty good here. So let's go over to the Virna side. Virna to win by KO. Where do they have it? Jandiroba decision. Jandiroba to win by. There you go. See, plus 1600 for KO. 240 by decision. So 240. 1600 by KO sounds about right. And then submission, they have a little bit higher, right? Jandiroba to win by submission plus 215. So that's what I like to do. I don't really like to look at the odds first. I look at the fight, cap the odds in terms of where I think the line should be. Then I go and I cross-reference in terms of where the line actually are. So I said Amanda Lemos by KO plus 186 or better. We're getting plus 215, 0.6 units probably on that. Amanda Lemos to win by decision, pretty much on point at 425. We said plus 400 or better. And then on the Virna side, yeah, we had KO at plus 1900 or better. We're only getting plus 1600 or better. Probably going to pass on that. I had the sub a little bit high at plus 400 or better, and the current line is plus plus 215, and the decision there. And that's because they have Virna as the favorite in the fight, so obviously some of the equity going to have to go away there. So overall, I like the Amanda Lemos side. I like more options. I think the outside low kick, honestly, is going to do wonders. And the fact that she spent all that time on the ground with Mackenzie Dern and did not get submitted, she spent 5 rounds on the ground with Zhang Wei Li and did not get finished. Gives me the confidence in betting the Amanda Lemos side. I compare Virna Jandiroba and Mackenzie Dern pretty similar, but I think Mackenzie Dern is probably better in all aspects than Virna. So this is going to be a step down for Amanda Lemos, and she's going to be the underdog. I'm taking that money all day long. I would suggest getting that line now because it probably gets closer to pick 'em as the fight gets closer. So let me know in the comments below where you think the lines are off, or where you think they should be, why you like the Virna Jandiroba side. Maybe I'm missing something or not considering something, but I like the Amanda Lemos side. Give me that side, and we'll go from there. See you guys at the window. Best of luck. Again, my name is Art C, and this is Fighting Stats. If I do end up making a play, though, I'll post it over to patreon.com/fightingstats. That's where I post all of our bets, our parlays, shoot for the moon parlays, things like that. Don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching. My name is Art C. Have a good day. All right, guys. Well, that is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this type of content, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe. You'll get notified anytime we put out new content. Listen to this. We just hit a massive parlay for $29,000 at UFC 297. That is one UFC after 296 where we hit a parlay for $82,000. That's back-to-back parlays. We've made $110,000. And how do we do it? We use our exclusive fighting stats, not available anywhere else. Our exclusive fighting stats gives us information, gives us a big edge over the sportsbooks, and tell us what's going to happen within the fights. We post all that information, our breakdowns, our best bets, over at patreon.com/fightingstats. Don't miss out. Make sure you subscribe today. Again, my name is Art C. This is Fighting Stats. Thanks for watching.